do we think that Trump is going to cause prices to go up when he gets into the office? Trump is getting ready to get into office and he has all of these economic plans. We got this email, you need to prep more than ever because Trump is talking about laying waste to the Constitution. So has the, yeah.
I was going to say, I'm going to quote Tara and say, use your brain, people.
He goes on to say, so as the people in line to be part of his administration, economists are predicting that his policies are going to crash the economy. You need to prep now more than ever. Okay, so Trump's policies, what is he talking about? He's talking about drilling for oil and gas so that we can have lower gas prices. When you have lower gas prices, everything else goes lower. He's talking about putting tariffs on things. Yes, that could cause prices to go up. But let's talk about this for just a little bit. Do we think that the economy is going to tank because Trump is into office?
No, we think it's going to be a lot better.
Guys, use your brain. I was watching because I knew this would happen. On January 19th, 2021, gas here in Wyoming was $1.87. Within a week, it was it a week or month? I can't remember. It's just a week. It was a short time. It was $3.87. $2 higher as soon as Biden got into office and stopped all of our gas production. Right there tells you.
Yeah.
Bread was 87 cents when Trump was in office. Biden is in office. It's $1.42 now. If you think that having Democrats in office gives you lower prices, you are very mistaken. You are very mistaken. They are totally anti-business. And so what they do is they jack the prices up and cause it harder for businesses to make money. Now you can say all these corporations are making money off of people and all of that, and it's just greed, whatever. But the policies that are put in place cause things like gas to go up that cause prices to go up.
Well, just because Tara said they jack the prices up, what happens is when politicians promise you something and the government doesn't have the money for it, and people say the government is printing money, what that means is the government is spending more money than it has, and the government creates more money out of nothing. But what that means is all the money's value is based on the total value of everything in the United States and everything that we create. And so if they create more money, then it means they get to spend that money as if it's, so like they print $100 million, and each dollar they get to spend as if it's $1. But once it's out there, then it dilutes the rest of the money. So all of the money that's out there now is worth less. So it's kind of like a hidden tax when they make a promise to give you something and they borrow money that they keep saying in the future generations are going to pay. Well, what happens is it's a secret tax that comes away from you right now because the dollars you have are worth less. That's what inflation is. And so, yeah, jacking the prices up is pretty much because they're making the value of the dollar lower.
Let me just interrupt for a second to say this video is brought to you by our Dining on a Dime cookbooks. The link is in the description below for quick and easy recipes that are cheap and your family will love and get you in and out of the kitchen quick. livingonadime.com. The link is in the description below. As far as all the tariffs and stuff go, guys, that is on luxury items for the most part that people buy. Brand new cars, booze, all of those kinds of things are actually luxury items. But you just want to keep buying those things.
But the other thing is that tariffs do potentially raise the price of the items those tariffs are on. But the issue with it is other countries put tariffs on our goods so that all of our goods are produced overseas.
Yeah.
Nothing is produced here because they put tariffs on us, so we have to pay a lot, or they put tariffs on us, so their people have to pay a lot to buy our stuff. But we don't put tariffs on them, so we can buy their stuff for cheap. So we're sending all our money overseas and buying everything from them. So if you've ever complained about the cheap stuff you're buying at Walmart or anywhere else, how long things don't last anymore, that's the reason why. And so even though, it would be great if the entire world didn't have tariffs and it was totally free trade, since it's not that way, then having them when he put them in before, it was creating a less of an imbalance in trade between us and other countries, which means jobs more in America and that sort of thing. So,
well, our books are a perfect example.
Yeah.
We don't ship outside the United States anymore because of all the taxes and tariffs and all the hoops that we have to go through to ship our books overseas. We just don't do it anymore. And so, unfortunately, because that makes our books between $70 and $100, depending on which country it goes to, for them to receive our book. Well, we just don't ship it anymore.
But let me say something on this whole thing. First of all, if you're listening to the news and the news is saying, "Oh my goodness, the whole world's gonna collapse. Oh, Trump's coming in office. Oh my God." Pause for a minute and get realistic. Like, you're listening to a bunch of people saying a bunch of stuff and you're just buying it without really thinking at all. Like, all this stuff about all the things that people accuse him of, the news says it. So people just believe that it's true without any actual evidence. And that's the problem is you need to, regardless of what your political bends are, you step away from all the news and you look at what's happening and try to understand without all the people's opinions and what they're trying to persuade you. Because basically they're telling you this is what you have to do. And you're saying, okay, all right, I'm a bobblehead. I'll just do anything you say. Oh yeah. And you're choosing to be stressed out for no reason. Like all these people that were going crazy, banging their heads on steering wheels and screaming and crying out to the sky.
But wait, they're crying. Why are they crying out to the sky? Why weren't they crying out down?
Because even though they say there's no God, they know there is. And but you know, if you've rejected him, then why are you expecting him to give you what you want? So anyway, the thing that I was thinking is, when they do present evidence, think about what the evidence actually is. Like, one thing I've heard is, well, when Trump was, and his opponent was saying this the whole time in her election speeches, when he was in office, it was just a terrible economy and unemployment was at a record high. Do you know why that was? It was great until COVID.
You can say it now. He's going to say we're going to have free speech when he gets in office.
It was great until that thing going around came up. And at that point, everyone said, well, we just have to recognize this is a hard time for America and we're just going to have to suck it up and bad things are going to happen. But you know what? The people that continue to carry it on and keep the economy from doing anything were all the Democrat governors of states like Minnesota.
And California.
And California, just continuing to keep people locked away and keep businesses from running while they were out doing the things they wanted to do that weren't as restricted as what everyone else had to deal with. So if you're a person that says, you know, Trump is so terrible, I'm a Democrat and I'm just going to keep voting that way forever. Think about, I saw this story about these people that left the country for a little while because of, all the guns and crime and everything terrible over in San Francisco where we came from. I'm like, who's been in charge of California for the last million years? Like, why is it that we live in a state it's a red state where all these things are legal and we're not afraid of weapons. We're not afraid of any of that. But all the crime is going bananas where you are in San Francisco. Why is that? Who's in charge of your place? And why do you keep voting for the same people that are doing it to you?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but if your husband beats you and then he's like, oh, I'm really sorry, I wouldn't beat you if you weren't such a bad wife. Is that okay?
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're doing if you keep voting for people that keep putting those things. Because if you're afraid of all those things, maybe it'd be good to go on a vacation for 2 or 3 weeks to some place that has all the things that you think you're afraid of. Yeah. Because there's a lot of, most of the trouble with crime and things is in places where people say, let's defund the police or whatever. So think about that. Don't listen to what the news is saying. Think, okay, realistically in my own life, what is my experience?
Yeah, and people don't want to look at that. Do we think Trump is going to crash the economy? No, we don't. Do we think that there are some things with tariffs and that kind of thing that could possibly go up? Yes, but I don't think as a general rule, the whole economy is going to crash. That's absolutely absurd to think that that's going to happen just because Trump gets into office with his policies.
Well, the other thing is if you like Trump, keep in mind that don't make it like, oh my goodness, everything, the whole world's going to be shining like Jesus has come back.
Your
No.
finances are not going to improve with Trump if you don't get your act together.
Well, but the other thing is that he is not, again, we mentioned in a previous video, we like him, but he's not a savior. So for all of you that think, oh, he's going to come in and everything's going to be like peaches and cream all day long and everything, we're going to, every one of us is going to get everything we want. No, that never happens. And in this case, he's going to do things that are probably going to be a lot better than what we've been experiencing. But a lot of the things that you would like to have may not happen. And so don't build it up to be this huge thing. Just take a sobering breath of relief and say, okay, some of the stuff that's really been squeezing me is probably going to be a lot less bad.
Yeah.
And
even with Biden in office and all the prices going up, it's not that people can't afford groceries. I go to the grocery store, and every single time I go to the grocery store, if the prices were this bad, people would not be filling their cart 2/3 full with soda, juice, teas, and coffees. They have at least $100 worth of sodas in their carts every time I go to the grocery store. Well, they're packed. You would not be buying all of the convenience foods. Normal food is still very, very affordable now, even with prices going up 20% on groceries. So the problem isn't the government. The problem is you. You are the problem with your finances. You are the problem you can't buy housing. You can't get housing. You are the problem you can't afford your car payment.
Well, because if the prices are going up and you say, oh my goodness, the prices are going up, I'm going to go get a latte and complain to somebody about it. If you say the prices are going up and you don't cut anything, you just swipe your credit card, you're kind of really causing your own problem in some ways. Like a lot of this is government triggered, spending too much. But you know why they're spending too much? Because they want you to vote for them. And they're spending too much because they're borrowing money that the government doesn't have or causing inflation in order to give people what they want that they just can't afford.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with you personally. If you can't afford it, if you can't afford to pay your rent and you send an email saying so, and it says on the email, this is sent from my iPhone 16, then I'm thinking, you don't really have a rent problem, you have a spending problem. And that's the issue with the government, is that the government doesn't have an income problem, the government has a spending problem.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys want to save money and learn how to get out of debt, which you can, go watch this video next. We will see you guys next time, livingonadime.com.